Hello guys and gals, Buffalo here. Welcome back to the range. Pretty excited about today's video. It is time for part 2 on the Diamondback Sidekick. And today's video is mostly going to be some shooting. I already did part 1, which was a general overview. I went over the features and specs on this revolver. If you haven't saw that video, I've got it linked in the description. I highly recommend that you check that video out if you are interested in one of these revolvers, because there's a lot of information packed into that video. Today's video is not going to be as much information. We're just going to do a little shooting with it and see how it shoots. For those of you guys who are not going to check out that first video, you're not going to click the link, you haven't already saw the first video, just real quickly, this is a cowboy style or western style revolver. It's a rimfire. It's from Diamondback firearms. Comes with 2 cylinders, swing out cylinders. This one is 22 LR. Of course, you can shoot your shorts and your longs in the 22 LR cylinder. Also comes with a 22 magnum cylinder. Very easy to swap those out. I showed that in the first video. So covers a lot of ground with this little revolver. It is a single action, double action revolver, so you can shoot this thing either way. Now, at the end of that first video, you guys saw me shoot it at 10 yards. It was shooting low right. So the sights needed quite a bit of adjustment, and I've taken care of that for that video. For this video, you can see I have shortened the front sight. I'll roll in some footage here of what that front sight looked like before, and as you can see, I removed quite a bit of material. The way I did that was very gradual. I removed a little bit at a time. I'd shave a little off with my file, go down and shoot about 50 rounds. That was my way of getting a lot of shooting in with this revolver while getting my sights set where I wanted them. So I kept doing that because I didn't want to take off too much. Once you take off too much, you can't fix that. So I was really careful not to take too much off. And I finally got it where my elevation was spot on at about 25 yards. To correct the windage, you can see I tweaked the front sight. It is canted now. You can't tell it in the sight picture. You cannot tell that sight is canted. But that brought me over to the bullseye. So this thing is spot on now at 25 yards with 22 LR. We'll test the 22 Magnum today and see exactly where it's hitting. Alright, so I've got a target out there at 25 yards. Got 5 rounds of CCI standard velocity 22 long rifle loaded into the 22 long rifle cylinder. Now this is not a competition target pistol, so I don't expect match grade accuracy out of a pistol like this. This is meant to be up on your feet, moving around, plinking tin cans, things like that. But just to give you guys an idea of the accuracy that I can get out of it, we'll shoot a 5-shot group here at 25 yards. Now this is more reflective of my ability to see the sights and put the shots on target than it is the inherent mechanical accuracy of the revolver, of course. But just to give you guys an idea. Alright, kind of fast shooting there, but anyway, you get the point. Let's go take a look. Now you guys have already saw the group because I've got a camera downrange here on the target, but I haven't saw it yet. And it, you know, that's not a group that you would, certainly not a group you would brag about with a target style revolver. And I could bear down. I could go back up there and shoot this group over a few times and really bear down and tighten that up and just show you guys the good group. but that's not what I'm about here on this channel. I want to keep things realistic, and that's a pretty good representation of what I've experienced with this revolver so far. This is a B8 NRA B8C target, a B8 center replacement target. That 10 ring is about 3 3/8 inches in diameter. So you're looking at about a 2 3/4 inch 5-shot group at 25 yards with a little cowboy revolver. I don't think that's too bad. I do want to mention that I've put roughly 600 rounds of 22 long rifle through this little revolver, and ejection has just been perfect. Very snappy, very clean every time. And back to that front sight, I'm sure some of you guys aren't going to like what I done there, but as you can see from my 25-yard target, it put me on target, and I don't really have any use for a firearm that's not going to put my bullets where I want them to go. Alright, so I took the 22 long rifle cylinder out, replaced it with the 22 magnum cylinder. I've got 5 rounds of 22 magnum ammunition loaded up. I'm shooting Winchester Super X 40 grain jacketed hollow points. So far, it does seem like it shoots the 22 magnums a little better than the 22 long rifle as far as accuracy goes. I've only got about 200 rounds of 22 magnum through it for obvious reasons. The 22 magnum is much more expensive. So let's see what 5 rounds of 22 magnum looks like from the Diamondback Sidekick at 25 yards. I have hearing protection in, but I can tell the 22 magnum is a lot louder than the 22 LR. Alright, so let's go take a look. Again, you guys should have already saw it on the screen if nothing goes wrong in the editing process here. But that is a better group. That's about, well, they're all in the 10 ring, and only 2 are outside the X ring, and they're barely outside the X ring. That is, let's see, about 1 5/8 inch group with the 22 Magnum. And as you can see at this distance, the point of impact is practically the same as the 22 long rifle. With the 22 Magnums, I have noticed it takes a little more effort to get the spent cases out of the cylinder. You want to turn the revolver up, let gravity help you out, and give it a pretty good whack. You've got the same stroke as you do on the 22 long rifle cylinder. So with those longer 22 Magnum cases, it just takes a little more effort to get them out of there. Switched back over to the 22 long rifle cylinder. I'm going to try to push it out there to 60 yards on that circle piece of steel there. For those of you wondering how this ammunition is performing from the 4.5-inch barrel, the CCI standard velocity 22 long rifle is averaging about 890 feet per second with a standard deviation of 13, while the Winchester Super X 22 Magnum is averaging about 1,265 feet per second with a standard deviation of 41. And I've included some slow motion footage here of them being fired side by side. One is the 22 long rifle, one is the 22 Magnum. Can you tell which one is which? Well, if you guessed that the bottom was the 22 Magnum and the top was the 22 long rifle, you're correct. Alright, so time to close this video out and kind of give my closing thoughts here. Love this revolver. I love that it brings back that style of revolver, like the high standard 9 convertible, which was also a 22 long rifle and 22 Magnum. Diamondback seems to have done a good job with this revolver. Do have a couple of complaints I wanted to talk about. I've noticed that sometimes this cylinder release here doesn't quite work. All this does is pulls out on your extractor rod there, and that's what unlocks the cylinder. And I've started just using the extractor rod, just grabbing a hold of it, just because it's more reliable. Because sometimes, see, this grabs on to the back of that. Sometimes it'll slip and it won't catch. Of course, I can't get it to do it right now on camera, but that's one little complaint. Another complaint is a couple of times in double action, I have had the hammer get to about half cocked and then kind of lock up, and I'll have to let off the trigger and re-pull. I've had that happen probably 3 times out of, I'm probably almost 1,000 rounds in now. I had 600 rounds of CCI standard velocity through this before I started the video, and I had about 200 rounds of 22 Magnum through it before I started this video. So you can add to whatever I shot in this video to those counts. So I'm probably getting close to 1,000 rounds. And I've done a lot of shooting off video today as well. But I have had those 2 issues. And one more that I feel like I should mention is with the 22 Magnum, I have had some light primer strikes, 3 of them total. I actually have all 3 of them here. I saved them for you guys. I realized that I could put these back in the revolver and they would probably shoot the second time, but I wanted to show them to you guys. They're actually, what's weird about it is there are 3 different types of ammo here. This one is a Winchester Super X. Probably can't see on this camera, but just got a light primer strike there. This one is a Spear Gold Dot, which I have never had a problem with those igniting. Got a light primer strike there. And this one is a CCI TNT green hollow point. Again, good CCI primed stuff here. Just a light primer strike. I was hoping I'd catch one on camera so I could have it on video. Didn't do it today. Didn't have any light primer strikes today. These are just ones that I saved that I had in the past, and I thought I should mention that. It is a bit concerning because with 22 Magnum, a lot of people use that for self-defense. They might have the 22 Magnum cylinder in for self-defense. I don't see this as a self-defense revolver. I see it as a range cowboy gun, just a fun revolver, something to pack in the woods with you. I haven't had any misfires whatsoever with the 22 long rifle cylinder. maybe it'll go away. Maybe it's part of just getting the gun broken in. Maybe it'll get worse. If it gets worse, I'll certainly do a follow-up video and let you guys know about it. But that's all I've really got to say about this little revolver. Really enjoy it. You guys hear my dog whining behind me here. She's laying a ball by my feet. She's wanting me to throw the ball. But I want to thank all you guys for watching my videos. The last video on the Sidekick done really well. A lot of interest in this little revolver. Thank all you guys that help support this channel over on Patreon. Every little bit helps. It means a lot to me. Also keep in mind that anytime somebody asks you to give up a little bit of your freedom for the greater good, that freedom is the greater good. But that's all I got, and I'll talk to you guys again next time.